Oh, I just spewed a bunch of pessimism, but what I believe solution wise needs to be done here is Trump needs to think about what the Canadian president had to compliment him with. Trump can be reasoned with. That's critical. That's not common, even amongst the most liked, loved, and benevolent or savvy presidents we've had. Usually they're stuck in a mold. Trump's, as many criticisms as you might have about him, not like that. It's like he's got Asperger's, like that little girl, you know, putting people against a wall, sort of in the opposite dimension. But, he doesn't care what you think, but he can be reasoned with. Meaning, if you can, from an intellectual perspective, get him to grasp something, he can do it. And he can ration and reason based upon it. But if you think about ultimately what that concept could do if Trump applied that to his own people, assuming they're like him, bizarrely enough, we could start to constructively erode panic and erode optimism at the same time. And that's what has to happen if we're going to be laissez-faire and let people figure this thing out for themselves and keep the ball rolling here in terms of the everyday life we used to live. So I would say if Trump, instead of thinks about the economy, a panic, or a practicality to end the spread, he shouldn't. He should lay out the facts, reason with society, let them know this is about to be on you, not me. And thus and then therefore, I believe, try and tweak a rational sense of conformity for their community, as ever micro or macro their circumstances in this thus then therefore might be, so that instead of thinking about siding with any three of those variable major, apocalyptic concerns of how this is going to uh, pull us one direction or the other in a poor, bad, or beneficial way, um, everyone can take a very critical, analytical interest very smoothly, very naturally, like the flow. Know when to act, know when not to act. In this art of ending the spread, managing everyday life within the pandemic, uh, healing the sick, and moving through this without a stun on action itself. Because if you just let the confusion between when and when not to stun you into a position when you should, you don't. When you shouldn't, you don't really act right. You don't even really don't not do it. You just kind of stay still and do nothing. Not acting is doing the opposite of what you would have done if you had acted, or staying still in some cases. So that's sort of a paradox there. But if, again, I'm not a philosopher. I don't know how to explain this stuff perfectly, but I'm no intellectual either. But if you think about where, fight or flight or play possum, don't play possum, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's the best way I can think about it.